everybody. So today we are recapping slope one more time. So this is just in case you need some extra practice just before we head into dealing with equations. So for recapping of slope, there are three different ways that you can find it. The first being that you can find slope from an equation. So from an equation. And you want to make sure that you have your line in the form of y equals mx plus b, where m is going to be your slope. So basically you are just looking for what is the number in front of x. M equals your slope. So if your equation is not y equals some stuff, you're going to have to manipulate that equation so that you have it in this y equals format. So for the first four, find the slope of each of the following, show any necessary work. So these first three are all in the form of y equals mx plus b. You have y equals some number in front of x and then plus or minus some other number. So in this case, we want the number that is in front of the x. So what is the slope of the first one? You would tell me 3. You don't need to include the x. For number 2, what is the slope of that line? And you would tell me -7. For the third one, what is the slope of that line? And you would tell me 1/2. Again, just the number in front of x. When you get down to number 4 and number 5, where it says find the slope of those two lines, notice that those are not in the format of y equals quote-unquote stuff. So in other words, you need to get this y by itself. So if I wanted to isolate this y right here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to need to move this 2x to the other side of the equal sign. If you like to have that line down the middle and that kind of helps you see what side you're moving things to, by all means draw it. But if I want to move this 2x over there, it's like a scale. I need to keep it balanced. So if I take it off this side, I need to take it off from the other side. So that's going to leave you with, these two are going to go away, so it's going to leave you with a -3y is equal to, and I cannot combine these two terms. So -2x here and a plus 12. Well, where does that positive 12 come from? Well, the 12 is positive here, so the 12 is positive there. -2x and -2x. Last but not least, to get y by itself, you're going to divide by -3 to get y by itself. And if I divide here, I have to divide everything on the opposite side by that number. So if we clean this up, the 3's are going to reduce. And that's going to leave you with y is equal to negative divided by a negative is a positive 2/3 x, and 12 divided by -3 is -4. So if I wanted to know the slope, again, I'm looking for that number in front of x. So in this case, 2/3. Number 5 is a very similar setup. You want to isolate y. Oops. So you want this y by itself, which means this 8x, -8x, has to move to the other side of the equal sign. Well, if it's negative here, to move it to the other side, we're going to add it. And if I add it to one side, I have to add it to the other. These are going to reduce, so they're no longer there, and that's going to leave you with a 4y is equal to an 8x, positive 8, positive 8x, and that 16 is negative. Again, you're not combining these like terms because they don't both have x's. Your next part is you need to, again, isolate y. So to get y by itself, you're going to divide each side by 4. And if I divide the left, I have to divide everything on the right by 4. These 4's reduce, which leaves you with y is going to be equal to 8 divided by 4 is 2. X, -16 divided by 4 is -4. And I need my slope, which is the number in front of the x, which is just going to be 2. So if I asked you to find the slope between 2 points or a table, you're going to use the formula m, which is your slope, is equal to y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2. And all this means is these are the y coordinate of the point versus the x coordinate of the point. So for example, find the slope between each of the following ordered pairs, show any necessary work. So I'm going to list first these ordered pairs as x1 and y1. And I'm going to choose 7, 7 to be x1, y1 just because it's the first point, which means this is x2, y2. And remember, we're going to use y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2. So we said our y sub 1 was going to be 7, and y sub 2 was 3. So 7 minus 3 over x1, which again was 7, x2, which was 13. So 7 minus 3 is going to leave us with 4, and 7 minus 13 is going to leave us with 6, but negative. I would like to see if you can reduce these, so if we take this one step further, each one of these numbers is divisible by 2, so 4 divided by 2 is the same thing as 2, 6 divided by 2 is the same thing as 3, and because it's negative, you'll typically see it with either the negative out front or the negative in the numerator. It's very uncommon that you see the negative left in the denominator, but you're not wrong to do so. So negative 2/3 is going to be my answer for that first one. Go ahead and see if you can try the second one. Pause it and keep going. When you're ready, go ahead and click play. Again, I'm going to label this one as x1, y1, x2, and y2. We're going to use this same formula that's up top. So I'm going to plug in y1, which was 5, y2, which is negative 4. So 5 minus negative 4 over x1, 12 minus 1. Remember, two negatives next to each other are going to turn this into a positive. So 5 plus 4 is 9. 12 minus 1 is 11. In this case, this one does not reduce. This fraction does not reduce, so my answer is just going to be left as 9 over 11. And then for the table. So a table is just a set of ordered pairs. So you can pick any set of ordered pairs you want. However, you have to go in the same row. So like if I chose this one, so if I chose negative 6, I have to choose the 13 too. If I chose negative 4, I would have to choose the 9. So you can pick any two ordered pairs that you want. For kicks and giggles, I'm going to pick negative 3 and 7, and we'll even do negative 6 and 13. So in this case, I'm going to list these out, negative 6 and 13, and negative 3 and 7, and then I'm going to label them, x1, y1, x2, y2. It does not matter what ordered pairs you pick, you will have the same answer, but your setup will be a little bit different. So I'm going to again do y1 minus y2, 13 minus 7 over x1, which is negative 6, minus negative 3. So just keeping that minus and then whatever number you have. 13 minus 7 is going to give me 6. Negative 6 minus negative 3, so that's going to make that a positive 3. Negative 6 plus 3 is negative 3. Oops. And then 6 divided by negative 3 is negative 2 for my slope. The third way that you could be asked to find slope is from a graph. You're going to pick 2 points that are on that graph, and then you're going to use rise over run. which is the same thing as the change in x's, or change in y's over the change in x's. So remember, rise is up and down, run is left and right. So on each graph, you need to find 2 points that are exact. So I'm going to pick this one and that one. I'm going to sketch a little triangle connecting those 2 points. Well, if I could sketch a triangle, we'd be in better shape. So in this case, I rose 1, and then I moved over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So my slope is 1/5. If you chose to draw your triangle, if you chose to draw your triangle this way, I would have went down 1, which is -1, and then I moved to the left, so that moving left is -5, and if I reduce this negative divided by negative is a positive 1/5. So 1/5 is my slope there. For 10, same kind of thing. I'm going to pick 2 exact points. I like those 2. If you wanted to pick a point down here, you could. You'll just have to reduce it in the end. I'm going to make a triangle. So in this case, I went down 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I went down, I'm going to put a negative, and then I moved to the right 1. -4 over 1 is -4. If you chose to draw your triangle on the other side, did something like this. In this case, I still would have went down, well, you could go up 4 and then left 1. 4 divided by -1 is still -4. So you have an assignment. I do want you to try those problems. If you have any questions, please ask. I will be happy to answer anything that you might have, and I will see you guys soon. Have a great day.